It's official, balance patch notes are here. I'm not getting too excited because this is the SWC balance patch. Well, first off, I'm not getting too excited because balance patches lately have not been as exciting as they used to be years ago. But also, it's the SWC balance patch. They're not going to shake things up too much while this big competition is going on. So generally, these are a little bit less exciting than usual. This came out like 12 hours ago. I'm sure you guys already saw it by now. But let's go over it. Let's see all of the things that aren't in here. Let's get it started. Greetings from Come To Us. Yada, yada, yada. Let's see. We have... Is there an easier way to... Much better, much easier to read instead of all that wasted space and tiny text on the screen. So let's get it started. We already have some of the Jujutsu Kaisen collab units on here. That's surprising because they just came out. Come to us like, we know they just came out. We're going to buff them already. They actually, in my opinion, they came out a little bit better than some of the other collabs. And I'll keep saying that because I feel like you could actually use some of these units starting right away. And the other collabs, I was like, yeah, not quite so much. So we have the Satoru Gojo Water, Wind, and Light Curse Technique Lapse Blue. Let's take a look at what the actual... Wasn't this already a good skill? Wait a second. Yeah, effect at decreased attack bar by 15% with a 20% chance. This is already the one that attacks all enemies 2 to 3 times, deals damage proportional to your defense, steals 1 beneficial effect with a 20% chance each, goes up to 50% chance, and is reusable in 3 turns. This is actually not a bad skill. I'm surprised to see. Well, it's Come To Us. They're just going to buff things randomly. Why would I be surprised? This is not new. But yeah, this is one of the skills that didn't need a buff as much as the other ones, so I am very confused and surprised. But this is yeah, they're really trying to make these Gojos. I already think the Gojos are good units. I already want the rest of the Gojos. I think we have one, right? Do we have one? I'm confused. I don't know what I have anymore. It's been a week. And then the Fire and Dark Gojo, Curse Technique Reversal Red, cooldown is now 3 turns instead of 4 turns. So this is... Perform an attack that has an attribute advantage on the enemy and decreases defense for 2 turns. Oh, like a Theomars kind of thing. Okay, I could see this being a 3-turn cooldown. It's a single target. It does a defense break. The Water, Wind, and Light ones, I think much more exciting skill for me. AoE steal beneficial effects. And then you can put some additionals on there. I like this skill already, but you know they're going to buff it. Why not? Go for it. Megumi Fire One, Pride of the Sword. You're like, is he going to try to pronounce the last name? I was going to. And then I decided, like, no, I don't. I don't hate myself that much. We know it's going to end up. Let's see. What is the... That was the one with the speed lead as well. So that's something to take into consideration. Removes a beneficial effect with a 30% chance, now a 100% chance. Removes 1 beneficial effect from the enemy target with a 100% chance now when you attack the enemy. He doesn't have any AoEs, otherwise that would be exciting because it's his passive. So, yeah. If he had some AoEs, that would be exciting. Because speed lead. So, Water Nobara. Hairpin Thorny Briar grants continuous damage for 2 turns with an 8% is now 100% chance. That one's fairly cut and dry. Seems fine. Water Indra. So that's it for. It looks like it's it for the new Jujutsu Kaisen units. I didn't feel. I was surprised that those are the ones that got the buffs. The 4 stars are like. Well, they're 4 stars. Countess doesn't really care about 4 stars. I got it. Also, the LD5 that everyone got. They're like, nah. No, we don't want to make that good. Everyone got it. We're not going to make it good. You want us to give you free LD5s? What are you, a Summoner's War content creator? We're not going to give you free LD5. You notice I'm looking right into the camera while I'm saying that. I mean, let's continue on. Water Indra. My resurrection passive. Always just poke the bear. That seems like a great business strategy. Let's piss off a giant billion-dollar company. And all the people that work for them. Seems like a great strategy. This is why my channel is dead. That's why. One of many reasons, I'm sure. Water Indra Might Resurrection passive. I think this is a decent unit, though. Decrease the damage you take from provoked enemies by 50% is now increase your attack bar by 15% if you get attacked during the enemy's turn. But he does the provokes. So he's going to continuously be increasing attack bar. I do like that. I think this is going to be actually more useful, but I think the Water Indra is already a good unit. So just based on my experience, actually having the unit, using the unit, he was much easier to use and was much more effective than the Wind and Fire ones, for me at least. And then we have the Wild Bolt, leaves a branding effect with a 40% chance, now a 70% chance for the Fire, Wind, and Light ones. Geralt and the Magic Order Guardian, Fire. If enemy target has an inability effect, so let's go take a look at this. Where is he? Where is he? How many times am I gonna do it? It's like every time I do a video, I'm like, let's make the Batman joke. Every single effing time. Yeah, third skill. Igni, currently its attacks all enemies 3 times with each hit, inflicting continuous damage for 2 turns. Attack the target under continuous damage. Stuns the target for 1 turn, 70% chance. Now, it is, if an enemy target has an inability effect after the attack, decreases cooldown of fire spell by 1 turn. But it's an AoE. Yeah, so that could be really nasty. Unless this is just happening once. I would assume that this is happening multiple times, so it's going to continue to... That seems crazy if it does this multiple times per attack. Then he could just have the skill available next again. It doesn't really specify... It doesn't really specify whether or not it's like can stack multiple times in every attack. But that is something that would be huge if... yeah, that'd be really huge if it could stack multiple times. Wind and Dark Geralt, Dancing Star and Star of Explosion. What do we have? Oh, this is the... Attacks all enemy 2 times. First attack installs a bomb that detonates after 2 turns, 50% chance. Second attack stuns all enemies for 1 turn, 30% chance. The harmful effect rate was rough on this. So this is, first attack installs a bomb, detonates after 2 turns, 50% chance, is now 70% chance. And harmful effect rate goes up +10. So, he might actually bomb things. I think that might be really nice for him. Because the low activation rate, but it's only half of it though. Second attack stuns all enemies, 30% chance. That wasn't changed. It's just the bomb. So, yeah. And then we have the light one. I already like the light one, Light Geralt. Adrenaline Rush passive. Damage you take decreases by up to 15% based on your adrenaline score. Oh, and that's the other ones are the Light Ciri and the Light Yennefer. After the attack, increase your attack speed by 20 is now 40% up to... So she just... Light Ciri is just going to stack faster. Okay. I don't think the Light Geralt change is going to make him more meta. I think based on RNG, he gets crazy sometimes. I've seen him go absolutely wild. There's actually videos on the internet. On the good old internet, on YouTube. I know, because I made them. Where he goes absolutely wild. So... Well, I didn't do the battles because I don't have the unit, but we showed what the unit can do. And then we have the Light Yennefer Magic Control passive. Let's take a look at the passive for Light Yennefer while we're talking about it. See, this is things that we should do, but you know I'm lazy. Where's Light Yennefer, actually? Not where I'm looking. All right, here we go. It's a 4-star. When the enemy removes harmful effects or an ally's beneficial effects granted on the enemy target are removed together. Afterwards, increases the attack bar of the ally with the highest attack bar by 30%. So basically guarantees another unit. Yeah. That could be really nice. I feel like we didn't see her more, but I guess... She's got Oblivion, too. I feel like that's not bad. Maybe there's a reason we don't see her more. Effect added if the enemy removes harmful effects or an ally's beneficial effect. Remove 1 harmful effect from the ally with the highest attack bar. Oh, that could be... I feel like this could be used more, to be honest. Maybe I'm just not seeing it in the battles that I'm doing, but I feel like that could be used more. Because that seems very interesting to me. And she has Oblivion. I like units that have Oblivion. Because half the units in the game that are part of the meta have passives. So, Oblivion, very helpful. Like, you first pick Asura all you want, and that's a solid first pick. It doesn't really bite you. I mean, aside from the fact that the leader skill is not that exciting. So I guess that would be the way that it bites you. But yeah, he's a decent bruiser. Oblivion things is very effective against half the units your enemy is going to pick. And then what else? But like you could use him as a bruiser, turn two team. So where are we? Vampire and the Vampire Lord. Water, Wind, Dark. Weaken. Okay, so skill 2 attacks 1 time, now 2 times. Weakens the enemy's attack power and decreases attack speed for 2 turns with a 75% chance. Is now a 50% chance. Nice. Make it worse. Total damage remains unchanged. So I'm assuming that just each hit has a 50% chance instead of 75% chance. Okay. They wanted those extra multi-hits. I think that's going to do... I think the big difference is going to be for the Dark Vampire owners. I think that more than anything else. What else do we have? Light Harp Magician. Wait a sec. Don't get too excited. Don't get too excited. Dreamy Leader passive attacks the decrease the attack power of the enemy target whose beneficial effects has been successfully removed by 10%. I think. Wait, aren't they just like they're like Smicer is better than this in every way? You know what? Let's give her the tiniest buff to show that we're gonna think about maybe doing some more the next time. Like, man, that... yeah. She needs... I would still rather use Smicer. I don't know. I would still rather use Smicer. I use her as a damage dealer. I think she's usable if you want to. I feel like Smicer's just so good, though. So she's got this. No, she's got the silence. She's got the bomb. She's got the stun. She's got the decreased attack age. She's got the strip. She's got the Smice is just better. Yeah, Smice is just better. But at least that here's the thing. So this means that possibly Comtois is interested in, you know, buffing the Light Harp Magician more by the end of the year. That's what I think this means. So I think that's the biggest benefit of her being in here at all is not this buff. It's, are they going to keep adding little buffs? Like, it's on their radar. They may keep adding buffs over the course of the rest of the year. Fairy King Dark Discernment passive. Effect to add increases the attack power of all allies by 10% if allies are not granted with harmful effects due to discernment. Oh my god. Oh, geez, that seems very... I don't want to fight these anymore. I don't want to fight these. It seems like so small. It's like, oh, just to increase the attack power of allies by 10%. That's going to be a lot of attack age increase. That seems like that is going to be a wild amount of attack age increase. And this is going to be like up there with Ragdoll, kind of, in terms of what it can do for your team. Yeah, this could be really... that seems I am concerned with attacking these now. Dark Beast Monk, because I think this is going to be better than it seems on paper. Dark Beast Monk, Crushing Blow Awakened, leaves a branding effect for now 2 turns. Okay. Wind Beast Monk, Crushing Blow Awakened, provokes the enemies with a 50% is now an 80% chance. Okay. So here's another thing is Beast Monks were in the last patch too. Kind of what I'm talking about with Celia, right? So Beast Monks, we saw these in the last patch. We're seeing these again. And they're just keep tweaking. And also, I think the patch before that, because the patch before that was the Chandra speed change, right? The base speed change, if I recall correctly. Was that 2 patches ago or was that 3 patches ago? I don't remember. But, yeah. This is Beast Monk's little tweak. Fire Desert Queen. Fire Charming Voice. Effect add decreases target's attack bar by 15%. Smicer just makes it so Comto's like, we gotta buff everything else. It's gonna get on par with Smicer. And Smicer, so great now. When it first came out, not really so great. They buffed her or him or whatever. They buffed the unit, and now it is so great. It's one of my favorite units. I actually don't have it on the main. I thought I had it on the main, but I use it enough on the Asia server and the Europe server that I was like, oh, I must have it on the main. Nope, do not. So we're gonna try to save scrolls for stones, scam stones. They're not called scam stones anymore, but they're still scam stones in my mind. What else do we have? Wind Mage, Secret Book passive, decreases the max cooldown of Mana Storm by 1 turn if the damage is increased up to 200%. So you have that skill again if the match has gone on for a while and the damage increase is fully maxed out. That could be frustrating long term if you don't take care of that fast. Okay. Zyra's buff, Fiery Breath. If the enemy's attack power is half or less than your attack power, your attack will always land as a critical hit. So, just another way to nerf Kinky. Kinky, every balance patch gets like a little bit nerfed. Not even like there was an actual Kinky nerf, but you know, there's these things like the Chimeras, right? The Chimera buff was a nerf to Kinky. Kinky was dominating, and now Kinky is just like, like I don't even worry about hitting Kinkies on defense anymore. I'm like, oh, this is easy. It's really not, the unit is really not as strong as it used to be with the nerfs to it and the buffs to the other units that are strong against it. All of the Sea Emperors, so skill 1 Power Surge, effect added, increases damage by 15% if there are no harmful effects to transfer. Okay, not anything too crazy. Wind Baek, Sickle Blade, passive, inflicts additional damage that is now 7% of your max HP. Myself and many other people, because this is one of the most wanted buffs in the game, and people continue to argue with me. I don't care. It's still one of the things that we need buffed the most, right? So it doesn't matter if you can use it in this one tiny niche little spot, and you got to make sure that you bring it. It's not on par with so many of the other units in the game. So, yeah, this is at least showing that. I mean, that little 2% might actually be noticeable. We'll see. I feel like that could stack up fast. I feel like it's going to be a noticeable for the ones that are actually trying to use this. They're like, oh, okay, it's a little bit easier for me to actually start killing things with this. But I do think, again, with the same Celia situation, is what's going to happen next. With the Beast Monks, as we've seen. The same with Celia, like what's going to be the next balance patch, which is going to be in November, end of November. Happy Thanksgiving. Can we get it? We're going to get a chicken buff. That's what it's going to be. We got the turkey buff. Yeah, but this could just be an indicator that maybe in the next balance patch we might see some more for this unit. Wind Hacker, backup code passive, damage increases by 10%, now 20% for every harmful effect granted on a target. I wish we did a little bit more with the Wind Hacker. It would be nice to get one. It won't happen, but I think I got like 200 scrolls on my main, actually. That's still not going to get me a Wind Hacker. I don't know why I was like, well, we got 200 scrolls. And that will be a 4th Josephine. That's what that's going to be. And then I'm going to have to use so many more Paladins. So, what else do we have? Wind Druid, but that's interesting, though. Damage increases by 10% for every harmful effect granted on the enemy target whenever you attack the enemy. Now it's 20% for every harmful effect granted on target. And it's a 4-time AoE. That's actually going to be decent. I feel like that's going to be decent. Yeah. I feel like that's going to be a decent... How many times am I going to say the same exact thing? I always wonder that. I look at some of the videos back, and I'm like, man, I just keep saying the same thing 15 times in a row. What else do we have? Wind Druid. Oh, it looks like 2 Wind Druid buffs. Druid Secret Plan passive. Max cooldown is now 7 turns. Effect change at the moment of death decreases the cooldown of Forest Living by 2 turns. Now decreases the cooldown of Forest Living by 1 turn if you're attacked by an enemy who has a lower defense than you. I mean, a lot of things are going to have a lower defense than that, but that's kind of the point, right? It's kind of a better counter to Oliver now, because Oliver is not going to be as effective. Oliver is going to be attacking it, and then also... Or you could make a high defense Oliver. So Oliver is going to be increasing the cooldowns, and then he's going to be decreasing his cooldowns as well. And then the max cooldown... Oh, it's basically the same buff. Right. It's just 1 in beast form. What else do we have? Fire Chimera. Really? Fire Chimera buff. Collapse. Counterattacks the target with collapse with a 50% chance of you receive an attack while it's on cooldown. They just buffed it, though. A couple patches ago? Was it 2 patches ago? I'm not going to complain. I think Rakan is an underrated unit, to be honest. We have the Joker. Light Joker Camouflage passive installs a bomb with a 35% chance now. Very nice. I think it's a solid unit as well. Strips into bombs, strips into... I mean, I use it on Despair. Strips into bombs, strips into stuns, into glances. It's, I like the unit. And then we have the Dark Giant Warrior, Weight of Death passive. Effect add increases the damage of Atlas Stone by 15% whenever an enemy or ally dies, up to 30%. But I think you just counter this. Like, if you see this and you're worried about it for any reason, you can just counter this with Destroy Runes. The same thing with any HP-based damage dealer, right? We have the Fire Horus. Wow. Fire Horus. Strategic... Oh, I see the Asuras. Hold on. We'll get to that in a second. Strategic Prevention. After granting Oblivion, grants Seal, like from the runes, for 1 turn with a 70% chance. The Seal effect has the same effect as the set of 2 Seal runes. Interesting. Was not expecting a Seal buff on there. So he's got the Oblivion and the Seal. Oblivion and cannot violent proc out of that. I gotta put more Seal runes on things, but I know that it just wouldn't land anyway. I know. I wish the activation rate was higher, but maybe that would be ridiculous if the activation rate was higher. So, kind of like that, like violent procs. They're already crazy enough. We don't need that. But this counters the violent procs potentially if you land it, but then you don't land the Seal. Asura, Wind and Dark. God's weapon attacks all enemies 2 to 4 times. Oh, it's a nerf. Wait. 2 to 4 times. Now 2 to 3 times. They nerfed the Asuras. I mean, the Dark one is a good unit. Wind one is, I think, the best of the 3 normal element units. So they nerfed the 2 best ones to do 1 less hit. Was not expecting an Asura nerf, I gotta say. That was not on the list of things that I thought were gonna happen today. Wind Asura, Barrage of Madness, absorb attack bar by 10% is now 20%. So a buff and a nerf. Barrage of Madness is, let's take a look at the actual skill. I'm not gonna find it, of course, because why would I? So Barrage of Madness attacks all enemies 3 to 5 times, absorbs their attack bar by 10% each. More harmful effects from at the target, the higher the chance of inflicting the more number of attacks. Yeah, that he does so many attacks. That's actually gonna be pretty significant, I think. I definitely think that's gonna be significant. He's going to absorb, and then he's basically gonna get another turn next to do God's Weapon. And maybe that's why they nerfed God's Weapon. They're like, yeah, it's kind of... Still wasn't expecting the God's Weapon nerf. That's crazy. Wind and Dark, Chun-Li, Blade Dance of Night. Is that the second skill? Yeah, it must be the second skill. Decrease attack bar by 40% is now 50%. Very nice. This also does ignore defense based on the attack gauge decrease. Blade Dance of Night, attack the enemy 3 times, decrease the attack bar by 40% each. Deals damage, ignores defense when the target's attack bar is 0. So this could start ignoring defense earlier now. It more likely than before, or more often than before, rather, is going to be ignoring some defense, which is nice. So people like to use Juno to counter her, and that second skill is really nice for Juno because it keeps decreasing her attack bar and just ignoring the defense. So what else? But everyone's using Hey Gang so often now. I feel like it's so hard to use Verisa versus some other units. BK, Water, Wind, and Light Wrathful attacks is a skill 2. Effect added while under Berserk state. Additionally, decreases enemy's attack bar by 50%. And that cycles. That cycles. I'm gonna find it eventually, guys. One of these days. Wrathful attack. It attacks the enemy with a Wrathful Axe, leaving a branding effect for 2 turns, increasing your attack bar by 50%. Target with the branding effect will receive 25% increased damage. We know how brand works. But increase attack bar by 50%. Decrease attack bar for the enemy by 50%. He could just solo things. Well, they could just solo things because the water, the wind, and the light. That light one is going to be very nasty for a guild. Yeah. That decreased attack bar on something that cycles his attack bar, so he's gonna be able to... He could just lock things down and not stop getting... Like, these units could just lock things down and not stop getting turns. Light one has a speed lead, too. And then we have skill monsters of some errors. Yeah. Skill monsters of some errors. Maybe we try that again. Skill errors of some monsters will be fixed. Maybe I could fix the way my brain says words. That could be cool. That could be a thing. Yeah, it's just bug fixes. Not anything crazy, not anything changing anything. Skill description of some monsters will be improved. I was just saying the amount of times they're hitting. That's all. It's not changing anything. Like Lucian is actually here. Amputation magic. So they're changing the skill. I don't know what 10 years later they decided to change the skill. Throws a number of cards and inflicts damage to all enemies ignoring their defense. Now throws a number of cards and inflicts damage 3 times to all enemies ignoring their defense. Still the same amount of times. Skill didn't change. Just the wording changed. So don't get too excited about that. And that's it. I think that the biggest wins here... Who's the biggest wins? I feel like the Dark Fairy King is going to be significant. Dark Fairy King. Fire Geralt if that stacks a lot. What else? Windhacker could be significant. Wind Druid is going to be actually usable now, I feel. Because you can't just Oliver that. So. What else? What else? Asura, the Wind Asura. Yeah. Those are the ones that I'm kind of interested in after this. I think Nyx is going to be very frustrating to deal with. I'm playing the matches out in my head. I'm like, oh god, they're never gonna stop getting turns. It's gonna be so frustrating. Yeah, I think Nyx owners might be the winners of this balance patch. Anyway, that's it for this one. Let me know what you think in the comments. Oh, never asked YouTube that. Never. That's YouTube 101. Don't ask them what they think. See you as always in the next one.